Day sat in the gray office, his back straight and face blank. Outside the window, stars and ships moved around Nexus Station. The year was 2157, and humans had been part of the Galactic Council for just 5 years. "You understand why I called you here?" asked Captain Kang, sliding a blue folder across the desk. "No, sir," Day said. He picked up the folder and opened it. Inside was a picture of a woman, but not quite human. Her skin had a soft glow, and her eyes were too large and bright. "That's Yuna. She's Illuvian. A Geisha." Day looked up. "A what?" "They don't use that word, but it's the closest Earth term. She entertains. She pours drinks. She talks. But she's also very important to her people." Day studied the picture again. The Illuvians were one of the oldest races in the galaxy. They looked down on humans as new, rough, and simple. "And what do I have to do with her?" Day asked, though he already knew. "You'll guard her during the summit. Keep her safe. That's all." Dad put the folder down. "Why me? Why not someone with more experience with aliens?" Captain Kang leaned forward. "She asked for a Korean guard. She says she studies Earth cultures. Korea is her focus." He paused. "But that's not the only reason. The Illuvians think humans are too emotional, too unpredictable. This is a test." "A test of what?" "Of whether humans can be trusted with important jobs. Right now, they see us as tools, strong backs, good fighters, but not equals." Kang's face hardened. "We need to change that." Day nodded slowly. He had been a soldier back on Earth before joining the Interstellar Security Corps. He knew what it was like to be underestimated. "When do I start?" "Her ship docks in 3 hours. Deck 47, Bay 12. Day stood and saluted. As he turned to leave, Captain Kang called after him. "Day, be careful. The Illuvians play games. Deep games. They say Yuna is just a Geisha, but nothing is simple with them. She'll try to read you, test you. Remember, you're not just protecting her. You're showing what humans can do." 3 hours later, Day stood at Bay 12 as the sleek silver ship docked. He wore his formal black uniform, weapon holstered at his side. His orders were simple on paper: protect the alien visitor. But Captain Kang's warning echoed in his mind. The ship's door opened with a soft hiss. First came 2 tall Illuvian guards, their skin shimmering like opals. They scanned the area, then stepped aside. She walked out slowly. In person, Yuna was more striking than her picture. She wore flowing clothes that seemed to shift colors. Her hair was black and long, styled in a way that looked almost Korean but not quite. Her eyes glowed a soft blue. Day stepped forward and bowed slightly. "Welcome to Nexus Station. I'm Officer Da Kim. I've been assigned to ensure your safety during your stay." Yuna studied him for a long moment. Then her lips curved in a small smile. "Officer Kim," she said, her voice musical and perfect. "How interesting that they sent me a Korean guard. Do you know I have spent 50 of your Earth years studying your culture?" She stepped closer. The music, the history, the customs. So fascinating. So primal. The way she said the last word made Day's skin prickle. There was something in her voice, respect mixed with something like pity. "I hope I can be of service," he said stiffly. Yuna tilted her head. "I'm sure you will be. Humans always try so hard." Her eyes seemed to look through him. "I have high hopes for our time together, Officer Kim. Very high hopes indeed." Day kept his face blank, but inside, he knew this assignment would be far more difficult than guarding a simple entertainer. Whatever game the Illuvians were playing, he was now part of it. Day walked 3 steps behind Yuna as they moved through the crowded main plaza of Nexus Station. The station was busy today, filled with beings from 100 worlds. Tall, thin aliens with too many arms, small, round creatures that rolled instead of walked, and humans, still a rare sight this far from Earth. "Tell me, Officer Kim," Yuna said without turning, Is this your first time guarding someone important? No, Daz said. I protected Earth diplomats before joining the station. Yuna stopped at a large window overlooking the stars. Her skin caught the light, making small rainbows on the glass. But I am your first Illuvian, she said. It wasn't a question, but Day nodded. Yes. We are not what you think we are, she said. Her voice was soft, but clear even in the noisy plaza. Your people have stories about us. That we are cold. That we look down on younger races. She turned to face him, her glowing eyes meeting his. They are all true. Day kept his face blank, but his hand moved closer to his weapon. Yuna laughed. The sound was like small bells. You see, already you think I might be a threat. She stepped closer. Relax, officer. If I wanted to harm you, I would not use violence. A group of tall, gray aliens passed by. When they saw Yuna, they stopped, bowed low, and backed away. Dad noticed fear in their four eyes. Why do they act like that? He asked. Because they know what I am. Yuna started walking again. Not just a Geisha, as your captain told you. Day followed. What are you then? She led him into a quiet tea shop. The owner, a six-armed alien, rushed to seat them at the best table. No one sat near them. In your terms, Yuna said when they were alone, I am part entertainer, part spy, part diplomat. She poured tea with perfect grace. Geisha is close, but not quite right. We call ourselves shapers. Shapers of what? Of opinion, of policy, of fate. Her smile was small and sharp. Your captain was right to warn you. We play deep games. Day took the tea she offered. How do you know what my captain said? Instead of answering, Yuna changed the subject. I have studied Korean culture for 50 years. Your music, your history, your wars. She took a small sip of tea. I find it all fascinating. The way humans hold on to the past while rushing toward the future. Is that why you took a Korean name? Dai asked. Yes, Yuna. She said her own name slowly, tasting it. It means gentle in your language, yes. I found that amusing. Why? Because I am anything but gentle, Officer Kim. Her eyes seemed to glow brighter. The summit starts tomorrow. Many important people will be there. Some who don't want humans to have more power in the galaxy. Dad put down his tea. Is that why you need protection? I need protection because I am valuable. And because I have made enemies. She looked around the tea shop. Some are in this very station right now, watching us. Day scanned the room but saw nothing unusual. When he looked back, Yuna was studying him closely. You are different from the other humans I've met, she said. More controlled. Less emotional. I was a soldier. We learned control. Yes, but there's something else. She leaned forward. I think you and I might work well together, Officer Kim, if you can keep up with me. Day felt like he was being tested. My job is to keep you safe. That's all. Yuna's smile widened. Of course. That's all. She stood gracefully. Show me to my quarters now. Tomorrow will be a busy day. The first of many. She paused. And Dai. Don't let your guard down. Not even around me. As they left the tea shop, Dai noticed how other aliens moved away from them. He wondered what they feared more, the Illuvian or the human who walked with her. 1 week had passed since Dai began guarding Yuna. The summit was now in full swing, with delegates from 30 planets meeting daily. Dai stood at the back of the main hall, watching Yuna move from group to group. She poured drinks, laughed at jokes, and whispered in ears. But Dave saw how after she left each group, the aliens would lean close to each other, talking fast. She's not just entertaining them, said a voice beside him. It was Captain Kang. No, Dad agreed. She's gathering information and sharing it. Kang nodded. The Illuvians are playing all sides. Be extra careful tonight. After the captain left, Da continued watching. The room was tense. Two groups of aliens, the tall Mary and the bulky Tavos, were arguing loudly at opposite ends of the hall. Yuna moved between them, speaking to both sides. When the meeting ended, Dae followed Yuna back to her quarters. The halls were quiet and dim in the station's night cycle. "You're very quiet today, Officer Kim," Yuna said as they walked. "I'm thinking about what I saw at the summit," he replied. "And what did you see?" "I saw you turning the Mary and Tavos against each other." Yuna smiled. "Is that what you think I was doing?" Before Dae could answer, he saw movement in the shadows ahead. His hand went to his weapon. "Get down," he shouted, pushing Yuna aside as a bright beam of energy shot past them. Dae fired back, his weapon hitting something in the darkness. There was a cry, then silence. "Are you hurt?" he asked Yuna, keeping his body between her and the attacker. "No," she said, her voice calm. "But you are." Dae looked down. The energy beam had grazed his side. Blood soaked his uniform. "It's nothing," he said, moving forward to check on the attacker. It was a Tavos, now dead. "We need to report this." Back in Yuna's quarters, after security had taken the body and Kang had been briefed, Yuna insisted on treating Da's wound. "Your medics can do it," Da said, sitting stiffly on a chair. "My people have better medicine," Yuna replied. She took out a small silver box. "Remove your shirt." Da hesitated, then obeyed. The wound wasn't deep, but it burned like fire. Yuna's hands were cool as she cleaned the injury. "You moved very fast," she said. "Most guards would have tried to shoot first. Most guards would be dead then." "Yes," she agreed. She took a clear gel from the box and spread it on his side. The pain vanished instantly. "You saved my life." "I did my job," Da said. Yuna's eyes met his. "Is that all it was?" For a moment, neither spoke. Da felt something strange in the air between them. "You were right about what you saw today," Yuna said finally, breaking the silence. "I was manipulating the Mary and Tavos, but not to fight, to reveal their true plans. Which are? They want to keep humans as workers only, not as equals." She put away her medical supplies. "Some of us disagree." "Some of who?" "Illuvians." "Yes." Yuna sat across from him. "My people value control above all else. Emotional control, political control. We see humans as too passionate." "And what do you think?" Da asked. Yuna reached out, her fingers lightly touching the place where his wound had been. Her skin glowed faintly in the dim room. "I think passion has its uses," she said softly. "The Tavos who attacked us was sent by those who fear what I'm doing here." "Which is what?" "Evaluating humans, your potential." Her hand stayed on his skin. "Most Illuvians think you're too unpredictable to be true allies. I'm not so sure." Day felt his heart beat faster. He knew he should move away, maintain distance, but he didn't. "Tomorrow will be dangerous," Yuna whispered. "The real games are just beginning." The day after the attack, Captain Kang ordered Da to stay close to Yuna at all times. This meant spending hours in her private quarters when she wasn't at the summit meetings. "Does it still hurt?" Yuna asked, looking at Da's side where the wound had been. "No," Da said. "Your medicine worked well." Yuna sat on a cushion in the center of the room. Around her were small objects from many worlds. Da noticed a Korean fan and a small stone bowl. "You really do study Earth," he said, pointing to the items. "For 50 years. Yuna picked up the fan. "I find humans interesting. You feel so much, so strongly. Illuvians don't feel." Yuna laughed softly. "We feel, but we control it. We believe emotions cloud judgment." "But you're curious about how we feel," Da said. "Yes." She opened the fan with a quick snap, "especially about how you connect with each other." Day stood by the window, looking at the stars. "What do you mean?" "Humans touch. You laugh openly. You cry. You fight." She closed the fan. "You bond so quickly." And Illuvians don't. We take years to form connections, decades. She looked at him closely. Tell me about human relationships. About intimacy. Day felt his face grow warm. That's not something I should discuss. Why? Is it private? Yuna moved closer. Or does it make you uncomfortable? Both, Dai admitted. Interesting. Yuna circled him slowly. In my culture, nothing is private. We share everything, except emotions. Those we hide. Day changed the subject. Why are some aliens trying to kill you? Yuna accepted the change. Because I know things. Secrets. She touched a small device on her wrist, and a hologram appeared between them. It showed ships, hundreds of them. The Tavos are building a fleet. They say it's for trade, but it's not. War? Perhaps, or just a show of power. She switched off the hologram. I've been gathering information on all species at the summit, including humans. Day frowned. Is that why you wanted a human guard? To study me? Yes, Yuna said simply, but it's become more than that. What do you mean? Yuna didn't answer. Instead, she asked, would you like to try Illuvian tea? It's very different from Earth tea. Without waiting for his answer, she prepared 2 cups. The liquid inside glowed faintly blue. This is special, she said, handing him a cup. On my world, we only share this with those we respect. Day took the cup carefully. Thank you. They drank in silence. The tea tasted like nothing Dai had ever tried before. Sweet, then bitter, then something else he couldn't name. What do you think? Yuna asked. It's complex. Like my people. She put down her cup. I have a question, Dai. A personal one. He nodded, feeling strange after the tea. Lighter somehow. What do humans look for in a mate? In a partner? The question surprised him. That depends on the human. And you? What do you look for? Day thought for a moment. Honesty. Strength. Someone who challenges me. Yuna smiled. Those are qualities my people value too. She moved closer. Another question. When humans are attracted to someone, how do they know? Day's heart beat faster. They just know. But how? Her eyes seemed to glow brighter. Their heart beats faster, Day said quietly. They think about the person when they're not there. They want to be close to them. Like now, Yuna whispered. Before Dai could answer, his comm unit beeped. It was Captain Kang. Bring her to meeting room 6 immediately, Kang said, his voice tense. There's been a development. As they hurried through the station, Dai felt confused by what had happened in Yuna's quarters. Was she just gathering information? Or was it something more? Whatever happens next, Yuna said as they reached the meeting room, remember that not everything is as it seems. Day nodded, his hand on his weapon. Whatever game Yuna was playing, it was getting more dangerous by the hour. Meeting room 6 was filled with tense faces. Captain Kang stood at the head of the table with 3 human officers and 2 alien diplomats. The Tavos delegation is threatening to leave the summit, Kang said when Dai and Yuna entered. They claim we're biased against them after the incident. The incident was their assassin trying to kill me, Yuna said calmly. They deny sending him, one of the diplomats said. They say he acted alone. Yuna laughed, a sound like small bells. And you believe them. The room fell silent. Dai watched Yuna move to the center of the room, all eyes on her. The Tavos want humans kept as workers, she said. Soldiers, servants, never equals. She looked at each person. The Meri want the same. So do the Gren and the Vox. Why are you telling us this? Kang asked. Because tonight, they will meet secretly to form an alliance against Earth. Yuna's eyes glowed brighter. I can get you proof, but I need help. Later, back in Yuna's quarters, Dai watched her prepare for the night ahead. How do you know about this secret meeting? He asked. Yuna looked at him through the mirror as she brushed her long black hair. Because they invited me to attend. Why would they invite you if they know you work with humans? They don't think I work with humans. She turned to face him. They think I'm using you. Day felt a cold feeling in his stomach. Are you? Una stood and walked to him. Her skin glowed softly in the dim light. What do you think? She asked, stopping very close to him. Day could smell her scent now, like flowers and something else he couldn't name. Sweet but strange. I think you're playing a dangerous game, he said, his voice low. All games between our people are dangerous. She reached up and touched his face. Her fingers were cool on his skin. Tell me, Dai, have you ever been with an alien? Dai stepped back. That's not appropriate. Your heart is beating faster, Una said. I can hear it. We have a mission to plan. Una smiled. Of course. She walked to a small box on the table and took out a tiny device. Put this in your ear. It will let you hear everything at the meeting. As Dai took the device, their fingers touched. He felt a small shock, like electricity. That's part of how we seduce, Una said softly. Touch is different for Illuvians. I'm not here to be seduced, Dai said firmly. No. Una stepped closer again. Then why did you move back to my quarters after the attack instead of putting me in a secure room? Why do you watch me when you think I don't notice? Day didn't answer. He couldn't. The meeting is in 2 hours, Una continued. I'll go alone. You'll listen from here. She picked up a formal robe of shimmering blue. Help me with this. Before he could object, she had turned her back to him, waiting. Dad carefully helped her into the heavy robe, his hands brushing her shoulders. My people believe humans are too ruled by emotions to be true partners in the galaxy, Una said as he worked. Too unpredictable, too passionate. And what do you believe? Dai asked. Una turned to face him, now fully dressed in the formal robe. She looked regal, powerful. I believe passion has its place. She touched his hand again, and he felt the same shock as before. Tonight will decide much, Dai. For your people and mine. She leaned forward and brushed her lips against his cheek. It wasn't quite a kiss, but something more intimate. That's how we say, wish me luck on my world, she whispered. As she left, Day touched his cheek. He knew he was being manipulated. Seduced. But knowing didn't seem to matter. The line between his duty and his feelings was blurring by the hour. Day paced in Una's quarters, the small device in his ear. For an hour, he had listened to the secret meeting. The Tagos, Mary, and 3 other alien groups were indeed planning to block humans from gaining more power in the galaxy. Humans are too unpredictable, one voice said. Too dangerous to be given equal status. They breed quickly and spread everywhere, said another. They must be contained. Then Dai heard Una speak. Her voice was different, colder, harder. I have studied humans for 50 years, she said. I agree they cannot be trusted with real power. My report to the Illuvian High Council will recommend humans be classified as a protected servant race. Day froze. His hand went to the device in his ear, making sure he had heard correctly. What about the human guard you keep? Someone asked Una. The one who killed our agent. A useful test subject, Una replied. He has provided valuable data on human responses to various stimuli. Laughter followed. Dai felt sick. He had been a fool. The meeting continued for another 30 minutes. Dai listened to every word, his anger growing. When it ended, he waited for Una, standing by the door. She entered looking tired. When she saw his face, she stopped. You heard, she said. It wasn't a question. Every word. Dai's voice was cold. A test subject. Valuable data. Una closed the door behind her. It's not what you think. I think it's exactly what I heard. You've been using me. Studying me like an animal. I had to say those things. Una moved toward him. They needed to believe I'm on their side. And why should I believe you're not? Una sighed. She looked suddenly very tired. Because I'm about to risk everything. She took a small crystal from her robe. This contains the entire meeting. Every word, every plan. I'm giving it to you to take to your captain. Day didn't move to take it. Why would you betray your own people? I'm not betraying my people. I'm trying to save them. She put the crystal on the table between them. The Illuvian High Council is divided. Some want to keep humans down. Others see your potential. I'm with the second group. You said humans should be servants. I said what they expected to hear. Yuna's eyes met his. Die. The Illuvian Council will vote in 3 days on humanity's status. If they classify you as servants, other species will follow. You'll never have equal rights in the galaxy. Day didn't know what to believe anymore. And your methods with me? The touching, the questions about human relationships. Was that all research? Yuna was quiet for a moment. It started that way, she admitted. But it became more. Before Dai could respond, the lights in the room went out. A second later, the emergency lights came on, bathing everything in red. They're here, Yuna said, suddenly alert. They must have followed me. Who? The Tavos. They never trusted me. She moved quickly to a panel on the wall and pressed it. A hidden compartment opened, revealing a small weapon. She took it out. Dai stared. You're armed. Geishas don't carry weapons. I told you, I'm more than a Geisha. She checked the weapon with practiced hands. Much more. The door to the quarters began to glow red as someone cut through it from the outside. We need to go, Dai said, drawing his own weapon. There's a back exit through the service area. As they moved toward it, the main door exploded inward. 3 Tavos rushed in, weapons firing. Dai pushed Yuna down and returned fire, hitting one attacker. To his surprise, Yuna rolled smoothly and fired her weapon with perfect aim, dropping the second Tavos. Her movements were fluid, practiced. Those of a trained fighter, not an entertainer. Who are you really? Dai shouted as they ran for the exit. Someone who believes in humanity's future, Yuna called back. Even if my own people don't. Day and Yuna ran through the dark service tunnels of Nexus Station. Red alarm lights flashed as they moved. Behind them, they could hear the heavy footsteps of more Tavos soldiers. This way, Day said, pulling Yuna down a narrow side passage. They pressed themselves against the wall as a group of Tavos rushed past the entrance. How did you know about these tunnels? Yuna whispered when the danger had passed. I studied the station maps my first day here, Day replied. Always know your escape routes. Yuna nodded with what looked like respect. Good thinking. They continued moving, deeper into the station's lower levels. Few people came here, mostly repair workers and droids. We need to contact Captain Kang, Day said. But they're probably tracking our comm units. Yuna touched the wall, feeling along it until she found a small panel. She opened it to reveal old wiring. I can send a message through the station's maintenance system, she said, pulling out wires with practiced hands. Day watched her work. You're not just a diplomat or a spy, are you? Yuna's fingers moved quickly among the wires. I was trained as many things. Fighter, spy, diplomat. She glanced at him. Seducer. So it was all an act. With me. Her hands paused. Not all. She went back to the wires. My people have lived for thousands of years, Da. We've seen civilizations rise and fall. We became careful, controlling. What does that have to do with humans? You're different. She connected 2 wires, and a small spark jumped between them. In just a few hundred years, you went from simple ships to traveling between stars. You adapt. You change quickly. And that scares the Illuvians. Yes, she sent a quick pattern of electrical pulses through the wires. Message sent. Kang will know to look for us in Section 12. They moved on, staying in the shadows. Day's mind was racing, trying to make sense of everything. If humans are so different, he asked, why do you support us? Yuna was quiet for a moment. My people are dying, Die. Not our bodies, but our spirit. We live so long that we fear change. She looked at him. Humans embrace it. They reached a junction where 4 tunnels met. Dai checked each one before choosing the path to the right. The Illuvians who think like you, he said as they walked. How many are there? Not enough, but growing. Yuna suddenly stopped and put a hand on his arm. Listen. Day heard it too. Voices up ahead. They backed away slowly, but it was too late. A group of Tavos soldiers appeared from a side tunnel, blocking their path. There they are, one shouted, raising a weapon. Day pulled Yuna behind a large pipe as energy blasts hit the wall where they had been standing. He fired back, but they were outnumbered. We need a distraction, Yuna said. Day looked around quickly. His eyes fell on a control panel on the wall. Without explaining, he fired at it. The shot hit the panel, causing it to explode in sparks. Suddenly, steam burst from pipes all around them, filling the tunnel with thick white clouds. Now, Day yelled, pulling Yuna toward a different tunnel. The Tavos fired blindly into the steam, but Day and Yuna were already gone, running down a new path. How did you know that would work? Yuna asked when they were safe. I didn't, Day admitted, but humans are good at thinking quickly. Yuna smiled. Yes, you are. That's what my people don't understand. She touched his face gently. Your unpredictability isn't weakness, it's strength. They paused at another junction, catching their breath. Day checked his weapon. Only a few charges left. The Tavos will report to the other species that we escaped, Yuna said. That I helped you. I've shown my true side now. Why risk so much for humans? Day asked. For me. Because I'd watched your people overcome impossible odds again and again. Her eyes glowed in the dim light. The galaxy needs that spark, that fire that only humans seem to have. Day heard distant shouting. They're coming. We need to move. As they continued through the dark tunnels, Day realized something had changed. He wasn't just protecting Yuna anymore. They were protecting each other. Day and Yuna reached Section 12, where Captain Kang had agreed to meet them. They waited in the shadows of an old storage room, watching the door. What if it's a trap? Yuna asked. What if they caught Kang and forced him to set us up? Then we'll deal with it, Day said. His weapon had only 2 charges left. Not enough for a real fight. The door opened slowly. Kang entered alone, his own weapon drawn. Day? He called softly. Here, Day replied, stepping out of the shadows. Yuna stayed hidden until Day nodded that it was safe. The station is in lockdown, Kang said. The Tavos have told everyone you attacked their delegation, Day. They're calling for your arrest. That's a lie, Day said. They tried to kill us. They've been planning to block humans from the council. Yuna stepped forward and held out the crystal. This has proof, the recording of their meeting. Kang took the crystal, but looked uncertain. The word of an Illuvian against 4 other species. It won't be enough. Then what do we do? Day asked. Kang's comm unit beeped. He checked it and frowned. The Illuvian ship is requesting permission to leave, with all their people. Yuna looked shocked. They're abandoning me. Not just you, Kang said. The message says the Illuvian Council has already voted. They're pulling out of the summit. Day turned to Yuna. The vote on humanity's status. You said it was in 3 days. It was supposed to be, she whispered. They must have held it early. Without me. The 3 stood in silence, understanding what this meant. Without Illuvian support, humans would remain second class in the galaxy. There's still a chance, Yuna said suddenly. If I can address the full summit, with all species present, show them the recording. Speak for humanity. How? Kang asked. The Tavos control all entrances to the main hall now. Day looked at the station map on Kang's datapad. Not all entrances, he said, pointing to a maintenance shaft. This goes right under the main hall. We can get in through the floor. That's... Kang started. Human thinking. Yuna finished, a small smile on her face. They made their plan quickly. Kang would return to the security office to prevent anyone from detecting them. Dai and Yuna would use the maintenance shaft to reach the main hall during the final summit meeting. As they crawled through the narrow shaft, Dai in front and Yuna behind, Dai asked the question that had been bothering him. If the Illuvian Council already voted against humans, why are you still helping us? Your people have abandoned you. Yuna was quiet for a moment. Because they're wrong, she finally said. And because I care what happens to you, to humans. They reached the end of the shaft. Above them was a panel that would open into the main hall. There's something else you should know, Yuna said, her voice low. In my culture, when an Illuvian goes against the council, they become outcast. I can never go home after today. Day looked back at her, seeing the pain in her glowing eyes. Why risk so much? Because sometimes change is necessary, even when it hurts. She touched his hand. Your people taught me that. Day checked his weapon one last time. Ready? Yuma nodded. Together, they pushed open the panel and climbed into the main hall. The room was full, delegates from 30 worlds sitting in tiered seats. At the front, the Tavos speaker was addressing the crowd. Humans have proven themselves dangerous and unpredictable, he was saying. The attack on our delegation is just one example. Day and Yuna emerged in the center of the hall. Gasps and shouts filled the room. Guards moved toward them, weapons raised. Stop. Yuna's voice rang out, louder than seemed possible from her small body. Before you judge humanity, see the truth. She held up the crystal, and images projected into the air above them. The secret meeting, the plans against humans, everything. The hall fell silent as the recording played. When it finished, Yuna spoke again. I was sent to evaluate humans, she said, and here is my report. They are different, unpredictable, passionate. She looked at Da, and that is their strength, not their weakness. The guards had surrounded them, but no one moved to attack. All eyes were on Yuna. My own people fear change, she continued. But humans embrace it. The galaxy needs this. Day stood tall beside her, facing the crowd without fear. Whatever happened next, they would face it together. Silence filled the great hall. Every alien delegate stared at Dai and Yuna standing together in the center. The Tavos representative was the first to break the silence. This is a trick, he shouted. The Illuvian is lying to protect her human pet. The recording speaks for itself, Yuna replied calmly. And I am not the only one who believes in humanity's potential. From the entrance of the hall, a tall Illuvian appeared. His skin glowed brighter than Yuna's, and his robes were rich with patterns that seemed to move. Council member Jin, Yuna said, bowing slightly. The elder Illuvian walked to the center of the room. The council vote was not unanimous, he announced. Some of us see value in human unpredictability. The Tavos delegate stepped forward. The vote is done. Humans are to be classified as protected servants. Unless a full summit votes otherwise, Jin said. He turned to the gathered delegates. That is our law. All species have a voice. Captain Kang entered the hall with several human officials. Earth requests an immediate vote on humanity's status, he said formally. For the next hour, representatives from each world spoke. Some feared humans. Others saw potential allies. The recording Yuna had provided played again and again as evidence of the conspiracy. Day stood silent beside Yuna, watching the debate. Her hand found his and squeezed gently. No matter what happens, she whispered, you proved them wrong about humans. We proved them wrong, Dak corrected her. When all had spoken, Jin called for the vote. One by one, each species made their choice. The room was tense as the final votes were tallied. By a margin of 3 votes, Jin announced, the summit has decided. Humanity will be granted full council status. Cheers erupted from the human delegation. Dad let out the breath he had been holding. Yuna's face showed relief, but also sadness. "What happens to you now?" Dai asked her quietly. "I am outcast," she said. "I cannot return to my homeworld." Jin approached them. "Not outcast," he said. "Ambassador." Yuna looked confused. "I don't understand." "Those of us who supported humans have gained influence after today," Jin explained. "We need someone who understands both cultures, someone to build bridges." "The first Illuvian human ambassador," Daz said, smiling at Yuna. Jin nodded. "If she accepts." "I accept," Yuna said without hesitation. Later, as the summit ended and delegates prepared to leave, Dai and Yuna stood at a window overlooking the stars. Captain Kang had just finished debriefing them. "I've been reassigned," Dai told her. "Security chief for the new human embassy, where I will be working as ambassador," Yuna said with a smile. "It seems you're still my guard." "Is that all I am?" Dai asked quietly. Yuna turned to face him fully. "You know it isn't." Her hand touched his face. "I was supposed to study humans, to evaluate your kind. And what did you learn? That you feel deeply, that you adapt quickly, that you fight for what matters." Her eyes were soft now, the glow gentle, "and that I have much more to learn. About humans. About you," she whispered. Day smiled. "I thought you were supposed to be seducing me for information." "I was," Yuna admitted, "but somewhere along the way I found myself seduced instead." "By what?" "By human courage, human passion." She moved closer. "By you." Day leaned down and kissed her. Her skin glowed brighter at his touch. When they separated, Yuna laughed softly. "You're the first human to kiss an Illuvian, you know. The first of many things between our people, I hope," Daz said. Beyond the window, ships were leaving Nexus Station, carrying news of humanity's new status throughout the galaxy. Among them was the Illuvian vessel, now carrying messages of alliance rather than dismissal. "What happens now?" Dai asked. "Now we build something new," Yuna said. "Something neither of our peoples could create alone." As they stood together watching the stars, Dai thought about how strange the universe was. He had been assigned to guard an alien Geisha, nothing more. Instead, he had helped change humanity's future and found something he never expected along the way. "To new beginnings," he said. Yuna's hand found his, that familiar electric touch now welcome and warm. "To us," she replied, "and all that comes next."